हरि ओम। ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धेर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So we are seeing the 12th chapter of Gita, Bhakti Yoga. It begins with Arjuna's question. Arjuna, after seeing the Vishvarupa And after listening to Bhagwan said that those who are totally dedicated to me, those who perform all their actions dedicated to me, they have love for me and have no hatred for any other being and are free from all attachment, they attain me. So Arjuna is asking question that you talked about doing upasana, doing bhakti of your Vyakta Rupa, Ishvara as that Vishvarupa, Ishvara as this Vishva. So one who worships you as Vishvarupa, that is the Vyakta Upasak, and those who worship you as that Brahma, as a Vyakta in your Swarupa, as Brahma. So who are better? So Bhagwan first talks about the Vyakta Upasak. He says those whose mind is totally immersed in me, Maya Vesham Mano Yemam. One whose mind, means Antakarana, is totally absorbed by me, means they have the understanding of me, they think about me, they remember me, they are totally identified with me. Nitya Yukta Upasate, remaining in this way, they serve me, they perform all their actions, they live their life totally for me. And with supreme faith, Shraddhaya Parayopetaha, with supreme faith, Bhagwan says they are the best, they are the supreme. Teme Yukta Tamamataha. According to me, they are totally integrated with me. But what about the Vyakta Upasak? Are they not Yukta Tama? What about them? So Bhagwan talks about them in the third verse. We had chanted this verse, again we will chant the third verse. Ye tvaksharam nirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyancha kutasthamachalam dhruvam. Bhagwan says that etu, those who are those devotees who worship me, who do my upasana, me as that avyakta, they do upasana of my swarupa, that aksharam. So etu aksharam, aksharam means immutable. That is the very swarupa of Bhagwan. Never changes, is immutable. That is that Sakshat Brahma, which never undergoes any change, any modification, which appears like this world changing due to its own power called Maya. So though it appears changing, it is not changing. Though it appears limited, it is not limited. It remains in its own nature, and that is its most mysterious, most amazing power. So that Swarupa of Bhagwan is immutable, aksharam, and anirdeshyam. It cannot be pointed out directly with any praman, with any means. It is not, it doesn't come in front of our senses. It doesn't come in front of our mind, our intellect. It cannot be directly pointed out. One can, all the scriptures talk about, indicate that Brahma indirectly, through the world, through the self, through our experiences, that world, that Brahma is indicated. but directly it cannot be pointed out because it is a vector. See, vector is that which comes in contact with our senses, our mind, our intellect. But avyakta is beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond the senses. It exists. It is true. It is real. But it doesn't come in front of the senses. The senses, the mind, they have their own limitation. They can perceive only that which is manifest. Even our deep sleep is beyond the scope of our mind, our intellect. Our mind and intellect doesn't function in deep sleep. Whatever we know about deep sleep is we just infer it. We can really know about deep sleep only through the scriptures. Otherwise we just infer. Even in science and all, they try to check the body only and infer the deep sleep. They calculate the brain wave, the heartbeat, the temperature, the pressure, and they just infer the deep sleep. But deep sleep is beyond the reach of our senses, beyond the reach of our mind, our intellect. And Brahma is even beyond this deep sleep. So it is a vector. But then how can we do the upasana if it doesn't come in front of our senses, our mind, our intellect? How can we do upasana? We have to take guidance from the scriptures. Though it is beyond our comprehension, the scriptures through certain terms and ways indicate that supreme. So taking the help of the scriptures, we have to understand and comprehend it intellectually. That's what Bhagavan talks about upasana. So upasanam nama yatha shastram upasyasya arthasya vishayi samipya upagamya tailadharavat samana pratyaya pravahena dirgha kalam yad asanam tad upasanam achakshate. So taking the help of the scriptures, we understand. So scriptures indicate that Brahma as Satyam, to shift our attention from all asatyam. Asatyam means the changing existence. This world, the nature of the world is constantly changing, but it is existing. So therefore the world is called asatyam, not mithya. Please don't call the world mithya ever. The world is asatyam, means changing existence. But that Brahma is changeless existence. So it is indicated as Satyam. The world is constant. World doesn't function by itself. It is Jadam, inert. So a Chetan Tattva is required for that inert to activate that inert. So the world as we experience is Jadam. But that Brahma is indicated as Jnanam, of the nature of knowledge, not Jadam. Then the world is limited. So many different objects are there which make up this world. But that Brahma is infinite, Anantam. So with the terms like Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, that Brahma is indicated. So taking the help of the scriptural terms, taking the technique which the scriptures are giving, like Avasthatraya Viveka, Drigdrishya Viveka, Panchakosha Vivek, through this Shariratraya Vivek. So through all this various Vivek, that Supreme is pointed out by the scriptures. So, taking the help of the scriptures, understanding them, and constantly shifting our attention to that Brahma which is pointed out is what is called Avyakta Upasana. Is very subtle and very, very direct. So, etu tu aksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gama. Again, the lakshana of this avyakta Brahma is indicated here. It is sarvatra gama. It is present everywhere. There is nothing in this world or the other world which is devoid of that Brahma. It is present everywhere. Just as the gold is present in all gold ornaments. You may have 1,000 varieties of gold ornaments, but you will not find even a tiny bit of molecule of gold ornaments which is devoid of gold. Similarly, everything in this world is pervaded by that Brahma. Therefore, it's called Sarvatra Gama, all pervading. But at the same time, it is Achintyam, directly cannot be thought of, because we can think about something which the senses see and experience. But Brahma is not, it doesn't come in front of the senses. So directly it cannot be, one cannot do chintan of that Brahma. We take support of the scriptures. Just like that pole vaulting, directly we cannot jump that high, that bar. One cannot cross that bar directly because it is too high. So we take the help of that pole, the sportsperson, and puts it in the ground, and taking the help of that pole, he jumps up. And once he jumps up, he drops the pole and goes across. So the scriptural statement acts like a pole. With the help of the scriptural statement, we have to take a leap in our contemplation and meditation. And once we reach a certain height in our deep understanding, then we have to just drop all the words. We have to drop all the mantras. And we just surrender to the meaning of these mantras. So this Avyakta Upasana requires proper understanding of that Brahma with the help of the scriptures. Therefore, Shravan and Manan is a requisite for Avyakta Upasana. For Vyakta Upasana also, lot of study and understanding is required. But for Avyakta Upasana, we should understand that Brahma and understand that Brahma as our own self and meditate on that Brahma. So this Avyakta Upasana is same as Niridhyasan. And Shravan, Manan, Niridhyasan, what we call Niridhyasan, is same, this Avyakta Upasana only. Here the term Upasana is used, but otherwise it is Niridhyasan only, wherein we meditate on that Avyakta Brahma as our own self. So Sarvatra Gama, so it is all pervading and Achintyam, and cannot be thought of directly. But indirectly one can comprehend through the scriptures and then meditate in that direction. Just like the moon is far away from the earth, and if you want to show that moon to someone, you cannot touch that moon and show, because it is far. But that doesn't mean we can't show. Though our finger doesn't touch the moon, but with the finger in the right direction, we can show the moon to one who has not seen. Similarly, though the words don't touch Brahma, but with the help of words, that Brahma is indicated by the scriptures. So understand the words and meditate in that direction. That is our upasana. Again, that Brahma is indicated as Kutastham. This very beautiful term. Kutastham means one who is seated in Kuta. What is that Brahma? Brahma is seated in Kuta. Acha. What is this Kuta? So Shankaracharya ji in his commentary he writes कि दृश्यमान गुणम अंतर्दोषम वस्तु कूटम कूट रूपम कूट साक्ष्यम इत्यादि कूट शब्दः प्रसिद्धो लोके. He says that kuta is that object, generally the meaning is, which appears good outwardly, but it has got some dosha inside, some defect inside. Outside it is appearing very nice, but it has got some dosha inside. See, sometimes we buy some apple and all, outwardly it looks very nice, healthy, tasty, but once you cut you find that it is rotten inside. So what is this kuta? Actually the kuta is maya plus avidya. The rotten thing is avidya. The good thing is maya. The whole world is expression of Bhagwan's maya. But why Bhagwan is expressing this world? Because of the avidya of all these beings, and they need expression. They need to fulfill their desires, and also world is required. So this world is an expression of maya in combination with avidya. Therefore, Shankaracharya writes कि तथा च अविद्यादि अनेक संसार बीजम अंतर्दोषवत माया अव्याकृतादि शब्दवाच्यम मायां तो प्रकृतिं विद्यात् मायिनं तो महेश्वरम मम माया दुरत्यया इत्यादौ प्रसिद्धं यत् तत्कूटं तस्मिन् कूटे स्थितं कूटस्थं तद अध्यक्षतया. So Bhagwan, that Brahma is established in that Kuta Maya as Adhyaksha, and in his Adhyakshata only the whole world gets manifested. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. In the 9th chapter also we saw that in the presence of Bhagwan the Maya manifests this world. So for whose sake? For the sake of the jivas. Who are the jivas? Jivas are that this Pratyekatma is also called jiva. The I expressing through this body is the jiva. The karta, bhokta, jnata identified with this body, mind, intellect is the jiva. But this jiva is unborn and deathless. But the jiva has got one defect. It has this anadi, from the beginningless time it is associated, it has this avidya, means ignorance of his own self, and because of this avidya there is a lot of desire, kama, and to fulfill those kama he does karma. So avidya, kama, karma are the defects, dosha. So we have this anadi avidya, because of which we have this kamana, and we want fulfillment of this kamna, but we by ourselves cannot do. So Bhagwan, through his Maya, he creates this world so that we can fulfill our kamna. And the ultimate kamna of gaining moksha also we can attain. So the world is created for bhoga and for moksha, bhukti, mukti, for all the beings. So this Maya associated with avidya is what is called kuta here. See, Maya is different, avidya is different. Avidya belongs to the jiva. Avidya means I don't know myself. So jiva is ignorant. Brahma is not ignorant. Ishvara is not ignorant. Jiva is ignorant. But this ignorance is an absence. Absence means what? Means in our buddhi there is no knowledge that I am Brahma. That absence is there from beginningless time, which gives rise to various desires. And to fulfill those desires we do karma. Then those karmas again create more desires, then again we do karma. So this karma bandhan itself is what we call samsara. To fulfill our desires we take birth again and again. We are given birth again and again in different bodies so that we fulfill the variety of karmas and desires which we have. But the Maya, since avidya is absence, this avidya is not there in Maya. This avidya doesn't belong to Ishvara. Therefore, one should be very careful, because many times many people misunderstand Maya and avidya as same. If you consider Maya and avidya same, then you will have to also say that Ishvara is also ignorant. Ishvara is not ignorant. Ishvara is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Svabhavaha. Also, we should not say the world is an illusion or mithya, because mithya is a product of avidya. We see a snake on a rope because of our avidya. The world is not like a snake on a rope. The world is like a ornament and gold. So there is karya karana sambandha between the world and Brahma. Snake and the rope, the illusory snake and rope doesn't have karya karana sambandha. There is no cause and effect relationship. The illusion of snake is because of our misunderstanding only. So world is not an illusion. World is not mithya. Those who say the world is mithya, they will have to also say Ishvara is mithya. Because you cannot have a mithya world and a real Ishvara. Because Ishvara, if he is also associated with ignorance, then he is no more Ishvara only. So total confusion will be there. So please never say the world is mithya. World is asat. It is existing but constantly changing. Ishvara, and Shankaracharya writes that Ishvara is the Lord of this world. So if the world is not there, then whose Lord is he? So Ishvara also exists, world also exists, Jiva also exists, but all are ultimately Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. That we have to realize. I am Brahma, world is Brahma, Ishvara is Brahma. Now we see differences because of my avidya. Okay? So here, who is wielding that Maya? Who is the one who is controlling Maya? That Ishvara. It is Ishvara Shakti. So he is seated in that Maya. Therefore he is called Kutastha. See, this word has got this deep meaning. So Ishvara as Brahma is Kutastha. He is the one who is seated in that Maya. See, ultimately, Maya and Brahma are not different. Maya is Shakti of Brahma. So, Shakti and Shaktiman are same. That's what the Upanishads also say. In Shvetashvatar Upanishad, it is said, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat and Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. This Prakriti, you understand Maya itself as Prakriti, and the Maya Pati is that Maheshwar, is that Ishvara. And here also in Gita, Bhagavan has said in the 7th chapter, ki Mama Maya. He calls that Maya as my. Mama Maya Duratyaya. Okay. So this has to be understood properly. If one calls this world Mithya, then the whole thing goes haywire. Then the entire understanding will be totally wrong. Then we are misunderstanding the whole Vedanta. It will not help us. It will not give moksha. We will be totally in that intellectual gymnastic only. People keep on quoting and saying all sorts of things, but it will not help in our sadhana. Because it is a wrong understanding. World is not mithya, world is asat. And the meaning of asat is not unreal. Asat means changing existence. World is existing all the time and all the time changing. So that existence is Brahma. And this changing is an expression of that Maya. माया का जादू है. So Kutastham. Another meaning of Kutastham is which is stable. Kutastham means stable. Athava Rashihi iva stitam Kutastham. Just like an anvil. See, like a goldsmith also, he has got a small anvil. And he bangs all these golden ornaments on them and all. The ornaments change, the anvil remains unchanging. Similarly, that Brahma is Kutastha, like an anvil, on which the play of all this change happens. Just as a screen in a cinema, and if you go to a cinema hall, you see a large screen. Nowadays we are not going to any cinema due to this pandemic. But otherwise there is this large screen, white screen is there, and you reach early, so you sit there with a big packet of popcorn, waiting for the film to start. So in the beginning you see the white screen. Nothing is there. Then slowly they dim the light and suddenly some picture appears on the screen. In the beginning some advertisements and all come, and then the movie begins. You see a vast land there, mountains and rivers, and then there is a small village, and in that village lives that little boy, and he slowly grows up along with his friends. Then he goes to the city, and fast moving trains, and then he takes a flight and goes abroad. So all this is happening in front of you on the screen, but the screen remains same. The screen doesn't go to the village, the screen doesn't go to the city, the screen doesn't go to the go abroad. But very interesting, when this boy goes to the city, the screen was already there. When this boy goes to the hero goes abroad, the screen is already there. In Ishavasya Upanishad also, that Brahma is pointed out that it is achalam, na ejati, naijat. It doesn't move. But it is faster than mind. If the mind goes somewhere, before the mind reaches there, Brahma is already there. Manasa javiyaha. Faster than the mind. So, this Brahma is kutastha, but the whole world changes. Expression of that Brahma, all these changes keep happening. But even with all these changes, that Brahma remains unchanged. That Brahma is our own self. We have identified with the cinema. Spirituality is to just take a step back and identify with that screen, your own self. Cinema se identify karoge, so all these emotions of the cinema will be there in our life. But if we understand ourselves as the screen, we can sit back, relax and enjoy the cinema also, without getting disturbed and agitated. So kutastham, therefore achalam, unmoving. Brahma doesn't move. Even if the whole world moves, Brahma doesn't move. Akash remains steady. Vayu moves, but Brahma doesn't move. Agni moves, but Brahma doesn't move. Jala moves, Brahma doesn't move. Our mind moves at a tremendous speed. Brahma doesn't move. It is achalam. And dhruvam. Dhruvam means absolutely steady, unchanging, steady. These are the lakshanas of that Brahma. Brahma is indicated in this way, and this Brahma is indicated that Brahma is our own self. So through this, all this, we have to meditate on our own self as Brahma. This self is not something vague. We know it as I. It is not some concept or some abstract idea. The self is as real as anything else. So meditate on that self as Brahma. As we have seen in the 10th chapter also, Bhagavan talked about itself as his vibhuti. Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutashaya stitaha. Aham adishcha madhyancha bhutanam anta evacha. So I am the self. So Bhagavan, that Brahma, is the self. So meditate on that self as the Nirgun, Nirakar Brahma. So in order to meditate on the self, we have to shift our attention and identification with our gross body as well as the subtle body. And there are certain other conditions required for those who are perceiving this path of Avyakta Upasana. So what are the conditions? In the next verse, Bhagavan says, Sanniyamendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataah. Bhagavan says that your senses and your mind should be under your control if you have to meditate on Avyakta, that Brahma. Sanniyam indriya gramam. इंद्रिय ग्रामम, सभी इंद्रियों को संनियम्य, कंट्रोल, रेस्ट्रेन. हाँ, सम्यक नियम्य संवृत्ति इंद्रिय ग्राम, इंद्रिय समुदायम. The eyes, ears, nose, all the sense organs, organs of action, they are not required for our meditation. Meditation is not perception. So the senses which perceive is not required. उनका काम नहीं है. They are not required for meditation. They are not required. They have to be kept still. But what about hands and legs and eyes, these organs of action? They are also not required. Because meditation is not an action. Meditation is not going somewhere, holding something, talking. Meditation is not talking or holding or running. So organs of actions are also not required. But what about the mind, intellect? Okay, they are required to understand. So as long as they are used to understand the Shastra, so with the help of Shastra, with the help of our mind, intellect, we understand that Brahma. And once that understanding happens, we have to shift our attention to that which is understood. So mind and intellect gives that understanding which help us in our meditation. Jnana pramanena avagantum ishtam brahma. In Brahma Sutra also, Shankaracharya writes that through jnana we can then finally realize that Brahma. So jnana, knowledge, help us to shift our attention towards that self, towards Brahma. See, though I experience myself as I, this I is very subtle. It is subtler than our ahankar. It is subtler, it is beyond all our senses and mind. So with the help of the senses and mind, we have to shift our attention in that direction and then drop the mind and intellect. Just as we drop the pole for pole vaulting, the mind, intellect and that understanding which we have reached with the mind and intellect is dropped and we surrender to that understanding. So for that we require total control over our senses, over our mind, intellect and very clear understanding of that Brahma with the help of the scriptures. Neyam. In the 13th chapter also, that Brahma is indicated as Neyam, that which has to be understood with the help of scriptures so that we can meditate in that direction. See, just as I gave the example of the moon, we cannot touch our finger to the moon unless we go there. But हम उंगली से उसको स्पर्श नहीं कर सकते हैं. But with our finger we can show that moon to someone. We can point that moon. So finger can be used as a pointer It cannot be used to grasp the moon. Similarly, the mind, intellect are used as pointers. They cannot grasp that Brahma, but they can point. And they become pointers when we understand that Brahma as indicated in the Shastra. So that understanding of Brahma acts like a pointer. So controlling the senses and the karmendriyas and our antakarana, we have to meditate on that Brahma, that Avyakta. Also, while meditating and perceiving this path, it cannot happen in one day. So one has to do this sadhana for a long, long time. So while living in this world, while perceiving this sadhana, we should also look at everything and everyone with samabuddhi. So this meditation is done not only with our eyes closed, but when we open our eyes and look at the world, then we should continue with that meditation by maintaining samabuddhi. Samabuddhi means what? Sarvatra samabuddhayaha. Samabuddhi means what? Sarvasmin kale. Sarvatra means sarvasmin kale. At all times. Samabuddhayaha. Samatulya buddhihi esham ishtanishta praptau te samabuddhayaha te ye evam vidaha. Means while living in this world, we should look at the world with samadrishti, that the whole world is pervaded by that Brahma alone, and whatever one encounters in this world, ishta, anishta, good, bad, indifferent, because the karma phalas will keep coming in our life. Even when we are perceiving this Avyakta Upasana, our karma phalas will not stop coming, because we have a stock of karmas which are not exhausted. So the karma phalas keep coming. So how should we take them? One should remain sama in all situations and conditions also. Samabuddhayaha ishtanishta praptau. When we get something which we like or we get something which we don't like, we have to remain sama, balance. Why? So that our meditation continues even when with our eyes are open and interacting with the world. And whenever we sit and meditate, easily we can again go into that meditation. So this lifestyle is important for Avyakta Upasak, Samabuddhi. Whatever comes and whatever happens, because everything is done by Ishvara only. So Ishvara par Vishwas rakhte huve, you face all the challenges of this world, doing whatever is required, and accepting whatever results come. That is Samabuddhi. And then third condition is Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. One should see, one is that we not only interact with the objects of this world, and we interact and we face the different events which happen in our life, but we have to face different beings also. So the world made up of objects, events, and beings. So how should I face the beings? Bhagavan says, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata. One should think and have the feeling of welfare, thought of welfare of all beings. One should revel, Rataha, revel in the welfare of all beings. irrespective of who they are, you just revel in their welfare. Do something for their welfare constantly. When you are with your eyes open, when you are moving in this world, आपका क्या काम है? Just do good to everyone. जो कोई भी आता है सामने, उसका भला कर दो. जो दे उसका भला, जो ना दे उसका भी भला. हाँ, those who are good to you उसका भी भला, those who are bad to you उसका भी भला हो. You just have your own policy of life, which doesn't depend on the nature of people around you. They may be good, bad, indifferent. की फर्क पैंदा. I will live on my policy. I will be good to everyone. Just like the sun, he gives light to everyone, irrespective of whoever they are. See, there are people who worship the sun. They offer waters and pray, chant the Gayatri mantra, and the sun blesses them with heat and light. But there are those who are totally useless fellows, papis, adharmic, but the sun gives light and heat to them also. Because sun is established in his own nature. The goodness of the sun doesn't depend on others. Just like water quenches the thirst of everyone. A cow comes and drinks the water, the thirst gets quenched. A tiger drinks the water, its thirst gets quenched. Because it's the inherent goodness of the water. Similarly, a Vyakta yogi should remain established in his own inherent goodness, which doesn't depend on others around. If you don't want my goodness, then don't come in front of me. But whoever comes will get my goodness. Just like flowers with fragrance, whoever touches that flower, whoever comes close to that flower, even the one who crushes that flower gets the goodness, the fragrance. If you don't want the fragrance, don't go in front of the flower. But as far as the flower is concerned, it shares its fragrance with everyone. Doesn't discriminate. Similarly, you should, as a Vyakta Upasak or as a Vyakta Upasak, should be like the flower, spread the fragrance everywhere. कोई भी आता है सामने, उसका भला कर दो. ज्योत से ज्योत जगाते चलो, जलाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो. Okay? So, sarvabhuta hite rataha. So, these three conditions for a Vyakta Upasak, especially. This is good for the Vyakta Upasak also, but especially a Vyakta Upasak. Sanniyam indriya gramam. All the senses should be under your control. Sarvatra samabuddhayah, should remain samabuddhi in all situations, in all what you call results of action. And sarva bhuta hite rataha, reveling in the welfare of all. Because as far as I am concerned, the other person is not other person. The other person is my own self. The other person is that Ishvara alone. You may consider yourself different. It doesn't matter. You may consider yourself as some person with whatever qualities and all. But as far as I am concerned, you are Brahma. The whole world is pervaded by the same Brahma. So, sarva bhuta hite rataha. So, with these three conditions, those who do this Avyakta Upasana What about them? Bhagavan says, Te prapnuvanti mam eva. Bhagavan says, they also attain me. The Vyakta Upasak attains Ishvara. The Avyakta Upasak also attains Ishvara. Te prapnuvanti mam eva. They attain me alone. But you had said this Vyakta Upasaks are Yukta Tama. They are the great. They are the best. So this Vyakta Upasak are lower than them? What about them? Because you have already said that Vyakta Upasak are the best. So what about Avyakta Upasak? Shankaracharya ji writes very beautifully. He says, Natu tesham vaktavyam kinchid mam te prapnuvanti iti jnani tu atmaiva me matam iti hi uktam. He says there is no need to say that they will attain Ishvara. This is understood. This is a given fact that they will definitely attain Ishvara, because a jnani is not different from Ishvara. Jnani tu atma eva me matam. Jnani is the atma of Ishvara. And therefore, nahi bhagvat swarupanam satam yukta tamatvam ayukta tamatvam va vachyam. Since they are of the nature of Ishvara, there is no, one cannot talk about them as yukta tama or ayukta tama. We cannot compare them with anyone. See, a Vyakta Upasak can be compared with other Upasak and then can be said as the best. See, there are those who are Vaishvanara Upasak, Hiranyagarbha Upasak, or those who do Pratima Upasana or some other Upasana. Among all of them, the one who does a Vyakta Upasana are the best. But those who do the Vyakta Upasana are the best. But the Avyakta Upasaks are Sakshat Ishvara only. They cannot be compared with anyone. So the term best and not best cannot be used for them. They are Ishvara alone. They are one with Ishvara. So for them, Yukta Tamatvam, Ayukta Tamatvam, etc. cannot be said. They cannot be compared with anyone. See, when Swami Vivekananda went abroad, someone asked him that, in your opinion, what milk is the best for us to drink and all? कौन सा दूध अच्छा होता है? He said buffalo's milk is good, lot of energy, lot of. The person asked which animal's milk is best. So Swami Vivekananda replied that buffalo's milk is very good. You should drink buffalo milk. But then that person countered him. He said, but you people, Indians and all, sometimes they call them you people. You people say that cow is like God, and cows, you worship cow, and you consider cow's milk also as good. So why you are saying buffalo's milk? He said, your question was not, according to your question I answered. You asked me which animal's milk is best. If cow is not an animal, cow is our mother, cow is Sakshat, that Devata only. So you cannot call cow an animal. And cow's milk is not milk, it is Amrut. Cow's milk is Amrut. So if you ask me which animal's milk is good, I will always say buffalo's milk. But if you ask me what is Amrut, that is cow's milk. And cow is Devata. Similarly, the Vyakta Upasak is best among all the Upasak. But Avyakta Upasak is Sakshat Ishvara only. So he cannot be compared as good, bad, best. Good, better, best. So there is no comparison for Avyakta Upasak. Atma eva. Jnani to Atma eva me matam. So Vyakta Upasak also attains Ishvara. Avyakta Upasak also attains Ishvara. So what is the difference? In the next verse, Bhagavan will tell us that is Avyakta Upasana is little difficult. It is not easy. It's more difficult. So that we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care of yourself and others around you. Be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to the pravachan again. Contemplate on it. Understand and meditate. Okay? And we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. जय जय राम। बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरिः ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।